Boom.
All right.
All right, we're live.
We are live for immigration Q&A.
How's everyone doing out there today?
How is everyone indeed?
So we're on Facebook Live here right now. We're also on TikTok. Thank you for joining us. My name is John Gardner. This is my wife and law partner, Radlyn Mendoza, and we are the immigration law firm Gardner and Mendoza. We come to you every Friday to bring you immigration updates and to answer your questions. We normally do it from noon to 1. We had to change the time because we had something today that had to happen that couldn't be changed. So
could not be changed. It was very important.
So we had to switch our time here. So we apologize if this has messed with everyone's schedule.
But we are here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes when we can't make 12 to 1, we just say see you next time.
That's right.
But today
that would have been an option as well, I suppose.
3:30 to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah. So I do want to warn you, caution you, advise you that what we do here is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. It is not legal advice. Not legal advice. Okay.
So what that means is don't take what we say here and go take action on it. Take what we say here, go find an immigration attorney who can help you with your immigration case, or contact us and we can help you and we can go from there. Hi, Jill. How's it going? Aunt Jill is saying hello. Maybe this is a better time for Aunt Jill.
She is joining us from an undisclosed location in South Florida. And I want to say hi to everybody over here on TikTok. As I said, we're on Facebook Live here, but we also simulcast with TikTok Live. If you're on TikTok, or just TikTok, excuse me, if you're on TikTok, go ahead and get your questions in here. The only thing I would ask you is please, 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 just put your question in one time.
Don't spam the questions, guys.
When you spam the questions, then we can't get to any of them, and it creates a lot of confusion and chaos.
And you get in trouble.
And then we just get to fewer questions. So we can get to a lot more of them if we keep it orderly and you just put it in one time. And I promise you, we just take them in the order that they come in. All right.
All right. Fantastic. We do have a couple of questions, but before we get to those questions, I want to, say we never talk about our contact information at the very beginning of a live stream. So I'm going to do that because sometimes people just want our contact information and how to get in touch with us. And if you want to contact us for an immigration consultation, you can give us a call at 757-464-9224 or send us an email at info@gmlaw.net. And for those of you on TikTok, you can also go ahead and if you have a long question, I recommend coming on to Facebook, and that way you can type your question in and it'll be we'll be able to see it in more characters. You'll be able to type more characters. All right.
And regarding the contact information, just keeping with that for just a moment, immigration law is federal law, so we can represent you no matter where you are. We have clients all over the United States. We have clients all over the world. Our office is physically located in Virginia Beach, Virginia, which is on the East Coast of the United States. But it doesn't matter where you are. We can absolutely help you and represent you if you would like for us to do so. All right. So, we have clients in New York, California, Florida, Texas, Colorado,
West Coast, California,
all over the place.
Yep.
Okay.
So let's go ahead.
Any updates today?
Not any updates. We're jumping right into questions.
Yeah, not much going on the immigration front.
I do want to say that we're going to be putting out a little bit later this week on our social media. Just there was a group that basically asked for a Freedom of Information Act request from the National Visa Center, and the National Visa Center had to release information, which kind of breaks down the backlog a little bit more for people who are waiting for interviews. And I haven't been able to digest that. It's a lot of information, but it's very interesting and it gets a little bit more detailed with regard to which posts have the longest waiting periods between a case being documentary qualified and waiting for an interview. Spoiler alert, Manila, Philippines is in the top 10. I believe it's in the top 5 And there are also many countries in Africa that are on that list as well. So more on that later on, hopefully early next week.
All right. So we'll take the very, very first question that came to us today, which was on TikTok. Question is it safe to travel back to the U.S. with TPS advanced parole?
I don't like answering travel questions. What a really great question. So if you have TPS and you have advanced parole, I mean, we've had clients who have done it. I would absolutely make sure you have your case reviewed by an immigration attorney and maybe by your immigration attorney, just to make sure that there's nothing there that would actually prevent you from returning. So I would like to open the file and take a look at it before saying, yep, you're good to go with regard to this advanced parole is concerned. But I will say that we have had clients who have successfully come back on advanced parole with TPS. But double check.
And that's a perfect example of why we issue this warning at the beginning that it's not legal advice. It's only informational and educational what we do here, because it's really impossible for us to fully analyze what the best course of action is, or to advise you on how you should react or behave in a certain situation, because we just don't have enough of the facts. I mean, we really, really need to know a lot more of the detail about any case in order to competently provide advice. So this really is just us taking a stab at something based on very limited information. All right.
Yep.
And that's why it is not legal advice.
AJ Official is saying goodbye. Bye, AJ Official.
Yeah, AJ Official said, you guys don't answer questions. Bye. Well, we just answered one, AJ, so you should have stuck around.
Do you think AJ missed out on that question?
I think AJ probably had the same question, but he'll never know the answer now because he didn't stick around. All right.
Let me grab Emily's question real quick. She says,
hold on, before you get to that,
I'm sorry.
I just want to real quick grab Jolene's comment, which was hi. Hi, Jolene. Okay. So see, that's the
entertainment part.
That's the entertainment portion that we were
fantastic.
We were bragging about at the beginning.
Okay. One of our daughters actually does do real entertainment. She's a singer and songwriter and a guitarist. So she would probably cringe if we said we were entertaining.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Emily asks from YouTube, hello, what is your office seeing with USCIS issuing combo card more, or is a case that they are still issuing EAD, AP separate? That's advanced parole. How long you are seeing to take to get EAD after filing? So we are seeing separate documents, EAD and AP separate, and it's taking about 10 to 12 months for the EAD. Hopefully that's helpful. You go on to ask whether there's any FOIA on I-485 or EB visas available publicly. I don't know the answer to that question, unfortunately. There, as far as what's going on with them and maybe more numbers and where they're landing as far as who's processing, I don't know the answer to that question, Emily. But really great questions.
Okay.
All right.
Next question over here on TikTok is, my mom applied for her brother in December 2016. How much longer would you say?
So this user,
yeah,
where are you? Yeah, I mean, it depends on the country, but generally speaking, those sibling cases are taking the longest amount of times of all the categories. So your uncle, right, would file in the fourth preference category. And if you take a look at the visa bulletin, I don't have it up right now. But I mean, it can take anywhere from 13 to 20 plus years, depending on the country. So yours has been pending for 7, right? If we are processing, 7 years, you've got a little while to go. If you put in the comments what the country is, then we'll be happy to look that up for you on this live. All right. So Gail says,
all right, go ahead.
Yeah. Gail says, is it normal to not have received the 60 days email after receiving it twice? I'm not sure I understand that question. The 60 days email. Maybe a little bit more information. Be happy to help because I'm not sure about that question.
Okay, I'm curious. Was the quiet on the set
Yep.
warning given? It was. Okay. I just wanted to know what my response will be later when we are done with
Well,
this.
maybe they didn't hear. There's a lot of them. Okay.
Okay, we've got a question over here. That what's the process to remove U.S. citizenship, please? Sorry about that, buddy.
What is the process to remove U.S. citizenship?
Yeah, we're not in that business. Our clients are trying to get green cards or get citizenship. I know that you can
renounce. Yes.
Renounce your citizenship if you want to apply and become a citizen in another country. I'm not sure what the process is here to do that.
Yep.
Do you know?
No, I don't. So far, everybody's wanted to keep their citizenship.
Yeah.
But there's absolutely a way to do that. Tina Turner did it.
Tina Turner did it.
She
That's
is
right.
probably the most famous American who has given up her U.S. citizenship.
Right. She became a citizen of Switzerland. And having been in Switzerland pretty recently,
yeah,
I can see the temptation. It was awfully nice. I wouldn't do
beautiful,
it. But
beautiful country.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to be a citizen to visit often. We could just visit like
her husband is from there, though.
Oh, I didn't know. That's an added. See, that's a detail that I didn't know. Okay.
All right. Sata says, I am a U.S. citizen.
I still wouldn't do it.
I want to file for a visa. If I lived in Switzerland, you wouldn't give up your citizen. Well, you wouldn't have to, maybe. Maybe she had to.
I wouldn't have to become a Swiss citizen. I would just live there with you.
John and I are married, so that was the question.
In case you're joining us late.
All right, excuse me. Okay, Sata, sorry. I'm a U.S. citizen. I want to file for a visa K1 for my fiance, currently in Africa. When he comes to the United States and we married within 90 days, can he go in and out of the United States while waiting for the chance of status to get a green card? Sata, this is an excellent question. Did you guys all hear this question? When her fiance comes into the United States, when he comes in on that fiance visa, can he travel outside of the U.S. after he comes in? Let's just say he comes in, they get married, and then 6 months later, he has to go back home for whatever he needs to go. So part of the process after an applicant comes in on the fiance visa and after they get married to the U.S. citizen is filing for the advanced parole. And someone earlier asked about the advanced parole, and that is permission to travel back into the United States after traveling abroad. And the issue with the advanced paroles right now is they are taking a really long time to get processed by USCIS. So after you get married to your fiance and it's your husband, and you filed the green card application and the advanced parole and the work authorization application, those work authorization application and the advanced parole are taking a really long time, 10 to 12 months. And that can mean that your future husband would be, I don't want to use the word stuck. He would be stuck here in the United States without the ability to travel. He basically, we would not advise that he travels outside the United States without first obtaining that advanced parole. There are ways to expedite these processes. And so he may be eligible to do that. So I hope that answers your question, Sata. And it is something to consider when trying to decide between a fiance visa and getting married, right? Because when you get married and your spouse goes through immigrant visa consular processing, then once your spouse comes into the United States with that immigrant visa, they are from day one ready to work. They're work authorized pursuant to their status as a lawful permanent resident, and they are also able to travel. So hopefully that helps. All right. We have a lot of questions, even though it's 3:30, 4:30.
Okay, that's good. The question over here is, let me see if I can put these two pieces together. I'm in the process of petitioning my fiance. It's been approved a month ago, and USCIS said that they sent it to the visa center, but it's been a month now, and we've never heard from them. So I'm just guessing this is just somebody who's nervous, wanting to know, is this normal?
That is normal. 30 days. It's usually, 45 to 60 days. It is a little nerve wracking when it gets approved and then, they say that it's going to be sent to the National Visa Center. And then 30 days later, nothing has happened, but hang in there. It will happen and they will process that.
Okay, let's get.
Is it me next?
Yeah, is there another one down there? Let me get to the question here. This is again about this renouncing citizenship. Here's another question, kind of a similar situation. We haven't heard. Let's see now. Let me back up. Hi, my husband has a work permit through I think DACA.
Yep.
Already expired 2 years ago, but he did renew it a few months ago, and we haven't heard anything yet for his biometrics.
Okay. So, scroll down again.
Yeah. Work permit already expired 2 years ago.
Okay. So,
and he tried to renew it a few months ago.
I would wait. I mean, a couple of months ago, you may not, he may not even be getting biometrics. So sometimes USCIS right now, they are waiving biometrics in some cases and with some applicants. So I would hang on a little bit longer and not necessarily panic. This is Shalista?
No, that's sorry, it was Jehoy.
Okay. There is with regard to DACA and renewal, there's a time frame in which you can't renew after a period of time. So you said work permit, you can renew that at any point. But my question is the DACA, did you wait the 2 years to renew the DACA? That could be a problem.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that as well, because DACA is a little more complicated because there's been some legal intervention that's been taking place there. It's
renewal should be fine, but renewing outside,
exactly,
could be problematic.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, let's see here. Ranor says, I'm in the Philippines. My agency told me that my employer already reached the quotas. What does that mean? Employer cannot issue an updated job offer and employment contract. So, Ranor, what that means is your employer filed, I'm assuming you filed the employment-based EB3. Let's just say you filed an EB3 case. What that means is that there's a cutoff date, and with that cutoff date, your employer started this process after that cutoff date. So every month the visa bulletin comes out and these cutoff dates are posted. You can take a look you can just Google visa bulletin August 2023 and see what the cutoff dates are for employment-based 3 cases, or, maybe you're in a different employment-based category. But what that means is you have to wait, unfortunately. All right.
All right.
Renor continues and says, employer cannot issue updated job offer and employment contract due to reached quotas. What does it mean? How can it be resolved? Unfortunately, you just kind of have to hang in there and wait until your priority date for that perm that your employer filed on your behalf is reached. All right.
Okay. And let's see, we've got some more there from Emily asking for a friend. But before we get to that question, we've had a lot of people join in since we started. So I want to just reintroduce ourselves for those of you who are just joining us. My name is John Gardner, and this is my wife and law partner, Radlyn Mendoza. We're the immigration law firm Gardner and Mendoza.
Hey guys, again,
And we
hello
have
again.
been practicing immigration law for 25 years now.
Yep.
And we are located in Virginia Beach, Virginia. However, we have clients all over the country, all over the world. If you have a question or you're interested in hiring an immigration lawyer, please reach out to us. Our phone number is 757-464-9224, or you can send us, you can reach us info@gmlaw.net. Excuse me. Okay.
All right.
We're up to Shasta now.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. She says, hi, how are you? I got approved for the F-129 2 months now. How long from NVC? And do I need to hire you guys to get the process faster?
Okay. So I'm going to just say she's I-129F. You got approved. And yes, answered that question a little bit earlier. It can take, 60 plus days for NVC to get that case. And with the question is, do I need to hire you guys to get the process faster? Yes, you do. All joking aside, the way that a lawyer, and I just want to be clear on this, whether you speak with us or, for future, if you speak with another attorney, don't let another attorney tell you that because their name is on the paperwork, it's automatically going to go faster. That's not how we help our clients' cases go faster. Lawyers' cases are not put in a fast pile. Just put it that way. Right. So the way that we can assist in expediting your case and making it faster than if you would file it is we know what we're doing, right? We are professionals. My accountant can file a tax return and spot tax issues or problems with tax related things a lot faster than I can. And because this is what we do, we're immigration attorneys, we're an immigration law firm, we have an amazing team. That is how we can get your case processed faster because we know what we're doing. So right. Yes, we can get it done faster because we know what we're doing. But no, just because a lawyer's name is on your immigration paperwork does not mean it's going to go on a fast track file, as far as I know.
Yeah, like that's absolutely true. It's not that it goes to a separate place or gets in a separate pile, but we don't make the kind of mistakes. I mean, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but self-filers often make mistakes. Cases come back, things are missing. Sometimes the mistakes are really huge and they're fatal. They can sometimes inadvertently take a case that would have been approved and destroy it forever because of a mistake. So that's the way that we help you get it done faster, is by doing it right the first time and efficiently the first time so that it doesn't come back.
Yeah. I mean, I have several examples where, if an attorney that knew what they were doing had been involved in the case in the first place, the case would not have the delays. It would, these are family-based cases where a child will age out and they're then in the very slow category where it's now a matter of waiting 10 years for this kid to immigrate to the United States. And that's just one example. I mean, there are multiple examples. So
yeah, absolutely. Okay. We got anything over there?
Yeah. No.
Okay. So Wynn would like to know, how long do I have to be a permanent resident before I can apply for citizenship?
So 2 answers here. If you are married to a U.S. citizen, and if your U.S. citizen spouse has been a U.S. citizen for at least 3 years, and you have been living with your U.S. citizen spouse for at least 3 years, and you have lawful permanent resident status for at least 3 years, then you can file for citizenship at the 3-year mark. And just to make things a little bit more confusing, you can file 90 days early. So really it's 2 years and 9 months if you meet all of those requirements. If you got your lawful permanent residency any other way, then it's 5 years. And again, you can file 90 days early. So 4 years and 9 months. So 5 years is a lawful permanent resident any way else other than what I just mentioned. And you can file 90 days early.
All right.
Oh, my mom is on.
Oh yeah, look, Erlinda Mendoza's checking in.
Erlinda Mendoza, that's my mom.
My
Hi, Mom.
That's my mother-in-law.
My mom is in the Philippines. It is 4:00 a.m. there. Mom, I told you that you should just watch it when you got up.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably helping her go back to sleep.
Yeah, and for those, that's a good reminder for those of you who are with us right now. If there's something that we're talking about and you missed it, or you're trying to jot it down and you didn't in time, we post these on our Facebook page. So when we're done today, you can go back and rewatch the entire thing, or you can try to forward through and find where we were talking about a particular issue. Okay.
Yep. And we have a whole library of live streams with all kinds of information and topics. Yeah. If you have nothing at all to do this weekend.
Yeah, and the topics are tagged, so you can even see like where we were talking about something. If you want to know how long you have to wait after being a permanent resident to become a citizen, you'll be able to see, oh, well, that was answered at, approximately minute 25.
Right.
Okay. It's very helpful. Okay.
Let me grab Emily's question.
Oh, is there another one?
She has
Okay.
another follow-up question.
Gotcha. Okay.
And yes, Emily says that the case is not for her. My friend's employer filed an I-140 for him. It's approved. It's at NVC. It's documentarily qualified, but he's also inside the United States on an H-1B, planning to file the I-485 now. Can he keep both consular processing and adjustment of status to see which comes first, the interview or at the embassy or in the United States? I mean, if he's filing the green card application here in the US, then that's going to go on its path. The consular processing case and when he's going to be scheduled for an interview, that as well is going to go on its path. So if he decides, hey, look, my interview back home is, it's ready, and they're going to interview me on such and such a date in 1 month, he can go home and go to that interview and withdraw his I-485. Yeah, sure. Now, I've never done this before, but the reverse has certainly happened, where somebody's here and they have a case that's pending consular processing, and then file the green card, and we go to the green card. We pursue the green card case and maybe go to an interview and then inform NVC that we've adjusted status. I've actually never had to do it the other way. But remember, Emily, this is not legal advice. And if your friend needs help, we're happy to assist.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is for informational and educational purposes only, and entertainment, but that was not highly entertaining. That was mostly just informational and educational.
Right.
Okay. All right. Kaba wanted to know how long is citizenship waiting time right now, 2023?
Yeah.
Kind of a similar question to Wayne's right before it.
Right. So how long is it taking once you file your application for U.S. citizenship? It depends on what city you're living in. For example, here in Norfolk, Virginia, where our field office is, it's taking about 19 and a half months. And sometimes, as I mentioned last week, immigration will process the last filed cases first. And there have been accounts where cases have been getting approved very quickly over the past couple of months because of that thing that they're doing, which is last in, first out. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is, however long it takes, and if you are eligible for U.S. citizenship, and this goes for any application, just file the application, or have your attorney file the application and get it in queue, no matter how long it takes or short. Now, if you're not ready to study and maybe they put you on the fast track and you're like, oh my gosh, I have an interview in 3 months. Maybe that's a problem, but you can study the test in 3 months.
I think the last in first out that they do occasionally is just a PR stunt.
It's
They
not a
figure
PR.
all the people that wait for things are already mad. They figure let's just every once in a while have a few people that are out there talking about how fast it was. It was, oh man, it was so quick. No problem.
Yeah, I don't think it's a PR. Maybe it's a PR stunt. That is quite cynical. I think that sometimes it's a strategy where, I don't know, operations people. If there are any operations people out there, please come on and explain to us how last in, first out helps with the backlog.
Mm-hmm.
I should read more up on it.
Just
It's a strategy. It's a PR strategy.
There we go. See, it's a compromise. It's a PR.
It's a
strategy.
PR strategy.
All right.
Orange
City over here came close to violating the spam rule, but I don't know when she joined. So, in fairness.
No.
In fairness.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. Orange City may not have heard the warning about the spamming. This is the first 3 questions of the
Okay, let's see what.
But the question is, hi, and that's a statement. Hi, the question is, how many months of evidence worth is suggested for removal of conditions? Thank you both.
24 months. So this is a wonderful question. I'm glad you asked it, Orange City, 3 times.
Those are the first 3.
Or 6 or 7 or 15 or 100 times. It's Friday,
yes,
we forgive you, Orange City.
Forgiven, forget, we move on. It's a good question.
It's a great question.
And it may be beneficial to a lot of people.
It's going to be beneficial to all of you.
I'll shut up for a second. You go ahead and tell her.
But so when you're filing the petition to remove the conditions on your lawful permanent residence status, so they want to see that you guys have been, the bona fide marriage and relationship from the time that you got married. So, you can, if there's a lot of documentation and evidence from the time that our clients got the green card, the lawful permanent resident card, then we're going to go from the time our client got the lawful permanent resident card to present day. So from the time they got the green card to the time of filing, which should be, within that 90-day window before your green card expires. So let's just say a year and 9 months. And we also provide documentation right after the marriage too. I mean, if there was a long marriage. So, a lot. Does that answer Orange? The more, the better, right? I mean, when you're removing the conditions on your green card, you want to put your best foot forward. And the more documentation that you can show over a period of time, the better. Now, if you and your spouse were dating when you were 13 years old and you have documents from, the first movie that you went to, the first piece of gum that you shared, leave all that stuff out and go from time of marriage to the time of filing. If that seems like tons and tons of evidence, because, immigration has your original file where you filed your first green card, right? So they will have all the things that you put in there. Sometimes we put it in anyway, depending on the bona fides of the marriage and what our clients have. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Emily might be an operations person.
Oh, okay. Emily. Yeah. What is it? Here's Emily's theory.
Let's hear Emily's
This is not a bad theory. Remember the whole cave thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Emily says, I think the files are not in order. They have boxes of cases of backlog files. So the process is the first case for a box. They aren't organizing the cases according to
priority date.
Yeah,
that is my thinking. Last in, first. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. That's a good theory, Emily.
All right. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on that.
It's not as cynical and sinister as mine. That's the other word I would use for it. Okay. So Let's see here. We got a question. Do you think the I-485 for work will speed up? Crown Art Customs would like to know.
Do I think the I-485 for EB cases are going to speed up? No, I don't. I think they're going to stay the same or get slower.
All right.
Those are my thoughts.
Okay. Variksha wanted to know, how long after you move to the U.S. do you need to get a driver's license? Well, Variksha, a driver's license is going to be issued by the Department of Motor Vehicles in each state. And so I will warn you that this answer will depend on what state you're in. It's going to differ from state to state. So the rule in Virginia won't be the same as the rule in California, for example. In Virginia, anyway, you can drive in Virginia with a driver's license from another country if you're a non-resident of the United States. And being a resident is triggered by either working here for 60 days or actually being domiciled, living here as your primary residence for 6 months. And then once one of those things happens, that's what triggers the need to convert your foreign driver's license into a Virginia driver's license. All right. And then even after that happens, you have 30 days to do it. And then you also, you have 60 days of a grace period in which to switch the license over. Okay. So depends on where you are. All right. And if you're a non-resident, if you're not working, then you have to live there for 6 months if it's Virginia. Okay. Any other questions over there?
Nope.
Okay.
We are all TikTok.
We're TikTok from here out. My gay fiance is a U.S. citizen. He wants me to go there. What's the best way? So I guess the gay fiance is here in the United States, U.S. citizen. This person on TikTok, not sure where they are, but they're in some other country, want to come here.
Okay. So your fiance wants you to come to the United States. And let's just assume your fiance wants you to come to the United States as your fiance and not as a visitor, not just to visit, right? They would have said that. There are a couple of ways to do this if the ultimate plan is to get married and start your lives together here in the United States. One is the fiance visa, and the other is the getting married, and your future spouse can then file for you as their spouse. So those are the two ways that can be done. If you happen to be here in the United States, say you're here on a tourist visa, there is also a possibility for you to adjust your status. So those are generally the three ways if we're talking about becoming a permanent resident of the United States and getting a green card.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He had the follow-up below it. He was wondering, between the choices of fiance visa or visiting him and changing the status after getting married.
What is this person's name? Ellen?
Ellen.
Okay.
Well,
So
I don't know the name.
Yeah. So Ellen, those are possibilities. There's a little bit of a wrinkle with coming to the United States for the sole purpose of changing status. You're not supposed to do it. So do people do it? Have people done it? Yes, they have. But there can be some issues with making a material misrepresentation if you are presenting yourself at the port of entry, if you're at the airport and they say, hey, what's the purpose of your visit? And you tell them that you're coming to visit, let's say it's a work. You say, I'm going to visit colleges and universities, or I'm just visiting some friends. But then you go and you meet up with your fiance. You never visit any of the colleges and universities that you mentioned. And the very next day you go straight to visit your fiance, and then you guys get married. So that can definitely be seen as a material misrepresentation and can pose problems for the future. I highly recommend that you get in touch with us so we can make sure that you're taking the best steps for your future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always tricky.
Yeah, and you really do have to be careful, like Radlyn said, about that when you're entering what the purpose of your visit is versus what. Yeah, I'll leave. I'm just going to shut up.
Okay. So Leslie Mel here has a question that I will answer. We don't like to answer travel questions, but I will answer this one. Is it safe to travel abroad with the conditional green card? So long as your card is not expired, your 2-year conditional green card is not expired. Yes, it's fine. It's perfectly fine to travel on the 2-year card. A lot of people have the misconception that the 2-year card is not really just like being a permanent resident of the United States. And it is. It's exactly like being a permanent resident of the United States. The date that you get your conditional card is the date you can start counting those days towards applying for U.S. citizenship with that 2-year card, right? So you can travel on the 2-year card. And it's just like the other card, it's just like the 10-year card, but you have conditions that you have to do something in that 90-day period before the 2-year card expires, which is to file the petition. But it is just like being a lawful permanent resident of the United States. Now there's, I mean, I'll give like an exception that I personally know about for a case that John and I worked on a really, really long time ago. There are some penalties for committing certain types of crimes for conditional residence, I believe. And that was a long time ago. It was like 18 years ago. So maybe my memory's not serving me.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Just scratch that.
I'm trying to remember.
What do they say in court? They say
strike that.
Strike that. Just please edit this video to remove that. Yeah. But hopefully that answers your question, Lesmel. It's a really good question.
Yeah, and just I'm not going to go on a big long side road here. I just want to make sure that everybody out there does know that immigration law is complicated enough as it is, but if you have any criminal background at all, if you have any criminal record at all of any kind, you really, really, really need to consult with a professional because you have a lot of potential pitfalls ahead of you that you don't even know about. You got to be super, super careful about that. All right.
Yeah. And let me pull the question back up again because you mentioned criminal history record. So is it safe to travel abroad with the conditional green card? Let me go back and say, so long as you don't have any other issues, right? I mean, listen, Mel, if you have a marijuana conviction in a state that doesn't recognize, that hasn't decriminalized marijuana, you're going to have some problems getting in. You're probably not going to be allowed in as a permanent resident. You're going to be paroled in. Then you're going to appear for, deferred inspection, and you actually may get arrested. So, barring any other issues, and Lesmel's that's not the question. I don't want anyone here to think that this is what's going on with her with this question. I'm sure it's not. I'm not 99.99% sure it's not. But in answering this question, is it safe for me to travel with a conditional green card? Yes, so long as you don't have a looming criminal record history where you would not be able to come back in as a permanent resident.
Which is precisely why we always say at the beginning that this is not legal advice. What we do here is for educational and informational purposes only. That's a perfect example.
Yes.
Somebody could be telling you on a podcast or something, or, what's the thing that
a podcast?
No, what was the thing that you used to do that was, I can't remember now. It was like a Facebook, but it was spoken Facebook.
Oh, Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Thank you. Yeah. You're on Clubhouse and people are saying, oh yeah, the rule is you're fine. You can travel. You don't know. We don't know. Like, we would need to know everything before we would be able to actually give you legal advice that yes, you're okay to travel, because we want to make sure there wasn't something that was going to create a problem when you came back.
Right. So no criminal record history. You're totally fine.
Yep. Okay.
Do you have a question over there? I think that was.
Yeah, you got some more over there, but there's one here. My mom applied, more timing questions, applied for her brother in December 2016. Oh, wait.
That is the same
Sorry,
question.
that is
Yeah.
the same question.
Right.
It's like, wow, that's really like the
So,
one we had earlier.
well, I pulled it. Let's talk about that for a second. I pulled up the August visa bulletin, and that person's priority date is August 2016. And yeah, it's taking, I can't even do this math. Is that 15 years? Processing cases filed on or before March of 2008. So in this particular question, we have about 7 years to go if that person is not from India, Mexico, and Philippines. If the brother is from India, then the priority date would have to be on or before February 22 of 2006. And if you're from Mexico, the priority date would have to be on or before April 15th of 2001. And so in this case, that's a 15-year wait. And then if you're from the Philippines, brothers from the Philippines, priority date would have to fall on or before April 22nd of 2004.
Right.
So you have a little bit longer to go, a lot longer to go, depending on the country.
So like 12 years if it's Philippines, right? Okay.
Les Mel says, thank you so much for the information. So far, I don't have any criminal record histories. See, Les Mel provided the entertainment for us today.
That's right.
So
we
far.
We leaned into Les Mel for the entertainment portion.
I like that. Okay, let's see here.
She just wanted to make sure that she cleared her good name.
That's right.
That no one had any lingering doubt about it. Okay. I think my mind was next.
My mind, yes. My mind from YouTube. I'm an LPR. How long can I stay outside of the United States? Some say 6 months. Others say 1 year. I am waiting for my re-entry permit. It's been 4 months already, and they did not ask me to do biometrics this time. I am in the Philippines right now. So that's interesting that they didn't. Okay. So the reason people have been saying, 6 months, year, is because when you're out of the United States over 6 months and you're trying to come back in, you have the burden of showing that you have not abandoned your lawful permanent resident status. And when you've been out for a year, then, again, you have the burden, but you're really going to have some difficulty, potentially real problems coming back in after a year. You've done the right thing by applying for a re-entry permit. It's interesting that you didn't do biometrics. Maybe they waived biometrics and used your old. So, you've done the right thing by applying for a re-entry permit. But for those of you listening out there, if you have to be outside of the United States for over 6 months, I wouldn't take the risk. The instructions on the reentry permit say outside of the United States for a year, but I don't know, especially if you're going back in and out, you may want to think about filing that reentry permit. All right.
Yeah, and just, one of many advantages of becoming a U.S. citizen is that then you can stay out of the country for as long as you want and never have to worry about it again.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Clayton over here wants to know, how long does it take for my resident mother to file for her unmarried son?
So it depends on where son is from, and just kind of looking at the visa bulletin, and it also depends on how old the son is. Let's just say the son is over 21. It can take anywhere from 6 years to, I'm kind of doing the math in my head here, 6 years to, what is that? 10. 6 years to 10. So this is why we always advise, we do it. This is advice, is to file your applications as soon as possible after speaking with an immigration attorney. Because you want to make sure that's the right thing to do.
We add that because again, you never know. We have had cases where somebody who was a permanent resident for a very long time finally decided to naturalize and become a U.S. citizen. And had they talked to us, we would have advised them not to do that, but they didn't talk to us. They did it on their own. And instead of naturalizing and becoming a U.S. citizen, they found themselves in removal proceedings to be deported from the United States. So, because of
Stuff.
yeah. So you really should talk to a professional before you jump into any of this.
Yeah.
All right.
So Jamia,
Radlyn was able to win that case, by the way, ultimately.
I had a team. It was all of us, not just me. I'm just the face.
Yeah, it was your client, though.
That was entertaining. Okay. All right.
Evidence of Friday afternoon.
Yeah, right. Right. Jamia says, hi, is there any possible way to get my son and live-in partner in the Philippines other than spousal visa? I am a green card holder. I mean, early as possible. So I don't know. What does your live-in partner do? Does your live-in partner have any opportunities here in the United States for employment? Is there an employer who's willing to file a petition for him? Is it a possibility that your live-in partner is a person who is of extraordinary ability and he could get his green card that way, which may be faster? So there are a lot of different factors here. I'm not saying your live-in partner doesn't qualify for any of those, but we do have to explore those in order to answer your question. But if the answer is no to a whole bunch of things, I mean, there's also the E2 visa. Could he make a substantial investment and open up a business in the United States? That could be faster than petitioning for him. So there are a lot of things. If none of those things apply, and of course, we'd have to kind of get down, again, not legal advice. Family petition wise, you probably are the fastest route. And the question here is, whether you want to get married. So family wise, you're probably the fastest route. But there may be some other possibilities that need to be explored when you speak with an immigration attorney, and make sure that we can rule those things out as not being faster or not being available. All right.
Okay. Did you want to get my follow up there? Or you want to jump to another question over here?
Yeah. When I come back, do I have to wait for 5 years again before I can apply for citizenship? It depends on how long you've been out. So not necessarily. If have you been out for more than a year, then you are going to have to wait. All right.
All right. Here's a question over here on TikTok that we get almost every week, some variation of it. We have a person from the Dominican Republic. They're here on a J1 visa and they want to stay here in the United States, and have decided the best way to do that would be to try to go to school and switch to a student visa.
Okay.
How is that possible?
Yes, that is possible. The first step I would take here is to find a school that you might be interested in that has an international student program. That's pretty much all of them, all of the universities. And so they would talk to you, and if it's a good fit, issue you an I-20. With that I-20, you would then be able to, if you qualify, to do a change of status from your J1 to your F1 potentially. So yes, that is possible. And the first step is find a school that you like and talk to them about issuing you an I-20. Okay. So my mind says she's been in and out for 4 years with re-entry program. We really have to count the days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we count the days.
Yeah,
It is total out old school.
Yeah, I've seen this before. I've walked into a door in the office and seen the counting, and I just tiptoe right back out because I do not want to interrupt the counting.
We count the days. Like there's a program for that as well. We can put all of the dates into our immigration software system, and it will tell us the number of days. But we still count the days.
Even when we do that, we always double check it by
We
just
always count days.
actually counting the days.
Even the computer is theoretically smarter than we are. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to get a match a couple times to feel good about it.
Jamia says, all right, thank you. How long does it take for a spousal visa anyway? I may make an appointment. It takes a couple of years. So get started. 2+ years. And we are going to talk about next week the more enhanced data that we have access to because of a FOIA that an organization filed pursuant to a lawsuit. And it's pretty enlightening and disheartening. So not stay tuned. Check back with us next week on our live stream, because we are going to talk about that. And I'm going to make a couple of posts and some videos about that as well. So it's really, really interesting.
FOIA is Freedom of Information Act for those of you who don't.
Yes. Thank you.
No. Okay. Is there anything else over there? We're just about out of time. This is another question that's a variation of what you've been answering several times. So I don't know if you want to.
Sure.
Try. This is kind of another one of these. I have a 29-year-old son who has 2 kids in the Philippines, and he is single.
Okay.
I've been a green card holder now for 1.5 years. What is the fastest way for me to petition for him?
Well, the fastest way for you to petition for him is to file the petition. Because if you're talking about petitioning for your son, then it's to file the petition. He's single, right? He's probably over 21, and it's not, the question is the fastest way. It's not super fast, but it is the fastest way for you to get your son over here.
Yeah. And that's, seriously, that's, every single day you don't file it is just another day is gone.
Yep.
So
exactly.
The best thing you can do is get it done now.
Yep. File the petition and be happy to help. So it is 4:30 and I have a meeting at 4:30.
Yep. Well,
so we have to end our live stream, but we will be back tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Next Friday. From
12 to 1 p.m. And we will see you guys there. Amazing questions.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
My says, thank you for answering my concerns. You're very welcome. We will see you all back here next Friday from noon to 1. Bring your questions. We got answers.
All right.
2 thumbs up. Guys. Take care.
Take care. Bye, guys. Thank you.